the Todd Shapiro Show, SiriusXM 168.
Elias!
Hey, Todd. How you doing, man?
Oh, my life's been better.
There's this awkward pause there. I hope it's getting better.
No, well, it is. I was going to say, my life's been better because I used to talk with you a lot, and now I don't.
Oh, well,
and
we're fixing that right now.
I know. I miss you. Andrew Barr's co-hosting the program, by the way.
Hello.
We're right on. What's up?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm pretty good.
Hey, buddy, I'll tell you one thing, dude. I'm perusing through your little Twitter feed there. And your Pert Plus and the main event and everything. And what I see there, though, which I didn't like, dude, what's with the 2 fucking losses, brah?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. What ends up happening is the last fight, I thought I did enough to win, but sometimes when you fight the hometown guy, the judges see something different. So even though I beat my opponent in every single metric, whether it was beating him 2-1 in striking, 3-1 in takedowns, controlling him about a minute and a half longer than he did. For whatever reason, the judges said otherwise. But one of the good things in that regard is the guy that I did lose to, the only people that he lost to were the gentlemen that were fighting for the title the very next day. And again, it was just a little mistake here and there that I think that I kind of made. And if you put in the comparison that he's been fighting professionally for 10 years, where I've been doing it for about 5, a little bit of growing pains. And again, I was lucky enough to go to my after party and drink my face off, where I know other people got their face beat in that night and went to the hospital. So, it's a dangerous sport and everyone loses, and I get to go back to the drawing board. And I have a fight coming up soon. It's not official yet, but I'll be back in the cage soon and looking forward to getting my hand raised.
No way! That's so good, buddy. When you can't talk about it. You can't announce it then.
Yeah, no, not technically. No, I can't. But it's going to happen soon. I already know all the details, and I'm back in the gym, ready to kick ass. I thought I won the fight, but when you put it in the hands of the judges, it kind of gets out of your hands. So next fight, I got to finish it.
Hey, what about that metric of penis size? You won that one too, right? With that last.
Oh yeah. Girth.
4-1 on that one.
4-1.
Every inch counts.
Put in the hands of the judges.
And the mouths.
Yeah.
Elias, I love you, dude. Man, I haven't talked to you in so long. We should have been talking more. Before we get to GSP and this guy, Michael Bisping, who I get to meet at the Fantasy Sports Show. Are you going to be at that?
Well, what day is it exactly? I'll swing by if I'm in town.
25th to 27th of August. I'll get you tickets. We got a ton of tickets to give away next week. All next week we're giving away tickets.
Fuck yeah, man. Afterwards, I'll fit it around my schedule or whatever like that. And at least one of the days I'll swing by.
Dude, you should challenge Bisping right there.
I know both Bisping and GSP, right? They're both buddies of mine. So definitely down to fight any of them because, money talks. But I like the guys.
Yeah.
Nice.
Before we get to those guys and that new talk about what's going on in the UFC, this Conor McGregor fight's around the corner, the 26th of August.
Right.
Yeah.
Mayweather, big fight.
It's madness. It's a little bit of a circus, but again, worldwide and all the eyeballs. And let's be real, it's not going to be the greatest fight of all time, possibly.
I think it'll suck.
It's going to be the biggest fight of all time, possibly. This is all about money. And it's not like McGregor's fighting Mike Tyson in any way, shape, or form. He's fighting the best defensive boxer of all time. So worst case scenario, I give him, a puncher's chance or a little bit more than that the first 4 rounds, and then it's going to get embarrassing anything after that. And either way, he's still a winner because he's got this opportunity and walks away with $100 million. So I don't know. I'd be willing to get embarrassed for a lot less.
Yeah. It is funny that everyone's going to pay so much money to see this fight, even though we all basically know exactly what's going to happen.
No, that's exactly right. It's exactly what happened with Mayweather versus Pacquiao, right? It was built to this huge fight, and then everyone was like, ooh, this sucks.
Yeah.
So, it's a little bit of a fool me once, but
sure.
At the same time, anything can happen. And I think the odds are a little bit different now because, all the Irish fans flooding the money for Mayweather, or
right.
McGregor, rather. So I think, and now it's like maybe max 5-1 or something like that. But I put some money in not too long ago because of the odds that it was, and whatever. It's one of those things where it could happen because in fighting, anything can happen.
Yeah.
McGregor is the younger, bigger, stronger fighter, and if he is able to bully him, he could upset the world. And if he does, other than let's say someone like Muhammad Ali, who had the cultural relevance in the 60s and all that time, no one's bigger than McGregor ever.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's pretty crazy. I went to that press conference in Toronto, and I was telling the boys here when I came back from it. First off, I was mad at Bilal because I didn't get in the media press area.
You were late.
I was telling them that, and then the second thing I was saying, yeah, because I had a media pass, but I couldn't get it. I was late to because I had a show to fucking do, and then I was telling them that I was kind of conflicted because I get it, right? It's amazing entertainment. It really is. It is amazing entertainment. And Conor McGregor, like, I think could do stand-up comedy, Andrew Barr. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He's got stage presence for sure.
You write that guy some jokes. He's pretty good. He could definitely do a Comedy Central roast if someone wrote him some jokes or something.
Oh, for sure. He'd be great on one of those.
It'd be amazing. But it was so, on the other hand, it was so nasty for something that's still kind of legitimate that it tarnished what sport is for me now.
Yeah, it's definitely got a bit of a freak show vibe surrounding it.
Well, especially with the new ownership in regards to the UFC, it's very much sport entertainment. It's not just the sports side. A lot of it is, why do we want to watch someone? What narrative do you attach yourself to? I was at the Toronto tour as well.
You were in the press area. I saw you.
Yes,
I couldn't get there.
I know, guy. I could sneak you right in. I just tell them to go fuck themselves. But but what I was going to say was, again, what you got to attach yourself and got to understand, I think, is this really does give a black eye to boxing in some ways, whatever the results are, because you were there as well, and you could see that. And what I noticed was the fact that, in many ways, even specifically for Toronto, it is very much an MMA town, not boxing. And I think Mayweather's fans are Fairweather fans. They're in it really not just for him, but more or less the excess that he exposes. And that's in many ways a part of the culture in regards to, flashing all your money, your prizes, your lifestyle and whatnot. And that's what McGregor is trying to do himself. But at least he has an actual true following. I really think that boxing in many ways is just a fair-weather sport. And it's one of those things when something big happens, people follow it. But mixed martial arts, although it's a smaller demographic in regards to actual size number, there's a lot more diehard fans.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, you're a UFC guy, obviously, so you love the diehard fans in that game, Elias. But I mean, I'm trying to phrase this without offending anyone. Do you worry that maybe it's going a bit overboard though, in terms of like when you come right out and call the network executive of Showtime a little bitch right to his face, I understand chirping the opponents. I like that about the UFC during the weigh-ins and they look at each other. Sure. And I also like, to be honest, how legitimate sponsors get behind the UFC. It helps guys like me doing an uncensored channel going, hey, look what they're doing at the UFC. Like Rolls-Royce presented Conor McGregor with a car when he went to New York 7 months ago. You would have never seen that kind of combination of class meets, I guess tough guy image in the past from a corporate side of things. But my point being is, do you think it gets, Elias, honestly, is it getting a little bit too graphic, too much, considering there is still a ton of fucking kids watching this too?
No, that's very true. But I think the whole point is to shock and awe. Everyone's taking a play out of, this is purely pro wrestling. That's what it is. And whether you love it or hate it, whether it's good or bad, you're still looking. And it's just about attention. It's not about really whether you agree with it or not. It's, again, whether you're laughing, like you said, at what McGregor says, or you're shocked about what Mayweather says. It's all about just attention. And again, whether it's good press or bad press, there's no such thing as bad press, rather.
Yeah.
Right.
Even wrestling, though, doesn't have the swearing.
Well,
True.
Yeah, it is a
Shit
PG
ton.
product.
I wonder if they'll change. I bet you they adapt. I bet you in the next 2. I'm making a lot of predictions today, by the way. One of them was that in 2025, every single guy on the planet over the age of 18 would have had a finger in their butt. That was one of them.
Well, I'm already futuristic, but whatever.
You are. You do your way
Ahead of your time.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they say, right? Well, Greeks invented sex. It just took the Italians to introduce it to women.
Nice, Theodorou. But I was saying that I think the wrestling within 3 years will have swearing as part of their product.
Interesting, because they sort of went through in the late 90s, early 2000s, what was called the Attitude Era, which was much less PG than it is now.
You're right.
So they've sort of already gone that way and come back.
You're right.
But
Vince
things are
McMahon
cyclical.
used to drop the N-bomb. It was
Hey,
crazy.
he did do that once, so that was bad TV. Oh man!
Crazy.
But you could see
And
it
the
swing
whole
back that way
NWA
at some
and
point.
everything.
I think just to compete, it's going to have to. Especially if we bring a Conor over one day, which might happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think the real possibility with that, there is a possibility with that because they have their own streaming, right? So there could be a rated R version. There could be a Raw or Next on something like any of the networks that they normally play, and then that they have their own streaming site. They can do all the WWE at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes perfect
Yeah,
sense, to be
could
honest.
happen.
I'd be hoping for a couple of titties here and there too. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that you won't get that in the Mae Young Women's Classic at the end of the month. That's not part of their plan.
fair enough.
That's that old lady, right? That's amazing.
Do a tournament to commemorate
No,
her
they
honor.
should do it. She looks like the grandmother from There's Something About Mary. The tanning.
Yeah, kissing between her heads.
Elias Theodorou's hanging out with us. So GSP coming back to the UFC, and he's fighting Bisping. What's the details of this now? Do you know?
Well, it has to do with a lot of the new era of the new management, WME. In many ways, it's all about how many eyeballs you can get. And you have a brash Brit who, is the champion, but you also have one of the best, basically pay-per-view pullers in regards to GSP. So he's a name that even the most fair weather fan will remember.
Yep.
And again, this is of the options of to come back. This is one of the more safer ones. He was talking about, again, whether it was fighting Wonder Boy or possibly Tyron Woodley. Bisping, up until recently, hasn't been a knockout artist. Obviously, there's the issue of going up in weight, but again, I think there's a lot of the similarities of the Mayweather-McGregor situation because I love George, one of the greatest of all times, the greatest to ever do it, and a true ambassador of the sport. But in many ways, he still had his critics when he was fighting that, we know what he's going to try and do. He's going to try and wrestle Bisping, put him on the ground, and beat him handedly, but by points. And again, it's all about the lead up and it's all about the money. And whether fans will be excited about it after the next day, that's something to be said. But it'll definitely, between the two of them, they have enough brand name to bring all the eyeballs. And that's what it's about, all the money.
Yeah, it's definitely money. Because the funny thing, too, is this is going to be for the title, I assume, Bisping being the champion. But middleweight also currently has an interim champion.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Robert Whitaker.
Yep.
So that would be the fight to make if you're really a sport. Like, that's how it's supposed to work. And they're just skipping over that guy. He's got to be pissed.
No, he's not, actually, because, he would have been the presumptive person, but it kind of, again, with all these moving parts, sometimes it's a little bit of fate. Robert Whitaker injured his knee, so he's probably out till 2018 anyways.
Oh, really?
So
okay, I hadn't heard about the injury.
Yeah. So, because what ended up happening was a little bit of it was Tyron Woodley fought his fight against Damian Maia, and Dana White thought it was Dana White thought it was a boring fight and took it away from him because, again, the opportunity presented itself because of Whitaker being injured, that they put this mega fight together. And again, whether it's a good thing or bad thing, people will still be watching.
Yeah, and I guess maybe that works out for Whitaker in the long run. If he's going to be out anything and GSP wins that fight, then he gets to come back and fight GSP, which is a way bigger fight for him. Because Whitaker's still a little bit unknown to the casual fans. Fighting somebody like GSP would be great for him.
No, 100%, 110%.
Is that good? 110? Like, is that
that's a good
is that a better number? Hey, Elias, you're good at this. You're good at talking, like doing this stuff. Are you doing stuff like what's going on with you? I see your podcast. Are you doing a podcast?
Yeah, I'm doing a podcast.
Asshole, we're supposed to do one.
I know we were.
Yeah, what did I record?
Talking about it, and we can definitely still talk like this. And I'm going to come see you at the. We're going to hang out more, regardless.
Good. No, I'm happy for you. What's your podcast? Who are you doing? Are you doing that like with Robin Black, or you just did a one-off with him?
I'm doing it with. I did a one-off with Robin. I'm doing it with Travis Turner. He's been a producer at The Edge for a long time, and he's honestly a huge fan of mixed martial arts, and he's a buddy of mine, and it just kind of made sense. And it's the Main Event trademark because I do own that.
Nice, buddy. You own the Main Event trademark, MANE for per plus.
Yep. Yeah, well, yes, I'm more main than man nowadays, and I get paid more. I get paid more to be a hair model than a fighter, but no complaints.
Are you suing Disney for suing Mattel for making Ken look like you?
No, funny fact. I actually did a little a kind of joke Photoshop of my face on Ken, the man bun Ken, and apparently one of the PR ladies from Mattel follows me, loved it, and now I'm the face of Rock'em Sock'em Robots in Canada.
That's so awesome, dude. Good for you. Good for you, man.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. But in regards to, again, a lot of this has to do with, all joking aside, about what you can build. And in many ways, GSP and Bisping have both built themselves a career, and I hope nothing but the best for them. It's a great fight, and they get all the money as they can get.
Yeah, dude, good for you. Last thing, because we got to run here with Andrew Barr coasting. I found this a great conversation. Thanks for filling in last second. I feel like you bet on Conor McGregor because of the odds, but I think you think Mayweather's going to win. Am I right? Is that your prediction?
Yes, he should. Like I said, I think McGregor has a chance, more than a puncher's chance, because he's the bigger, stronger, younger individual to bully him in the corner and kind of, get him with a quick shot that kind of will rock him. But at the same time, Mayweather is the best defensive boxer for a reason, and the longer it goes, the more embarrassing it's going to be.
Andrew, what do you think?
I think about the same. I don't think Conor certainly. I don't think has the cardio for what is it, a 12-round fight probably.
Yep.
It's people talk about the puncher's chance, but it's like, who else had a puncher's chance? People who were like the number 2 boxers in the world, and they couldn't do it. So, I don't know.
That's a good point.
The one thing I would throw in there, the only thing that is the big issue about this is Father Time is undefeated. And the older that Floyd Mayweather gets, the more of a chance that, all cylinders aren't firing.
That's definitely...
He still looks great. He still looks like the champ of old.
Yep.
And, hey, black doesn't crack, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a wild card factor. At a certain point, every fighter is over the hill, and you never really know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Elias, what's the deal in the contract that, like, if Conor goes UFC styles on it, does he lose all his money?
Yeah, there's huge fines, but how fucking awesome would it be if he just out of nowhere just roundhouse kicks him in the head?
I think he's going to do that.
I think it's like a fucking man.
No, but let me ask: does fighter instinct take over? Like, he's only trained for boxing for 3-4 months at the most doing this stuff. So does fighter instinct, when your defensive, like when your instincts take over, if you're losing, does that instinct take over? The only thing he knows to become just a rabid pit bull and win any way he can, which is what you guys do in your world.
Fuck, I think you might be onto something. I'm going to see if there's any odds of him getting fouled.
Yeah, I want to bet on that. Fuck.
I'd like to see. I don't think he'll throw the kick because it'll cost him too much money. But I think we could see him fake a kick. There's no rule against that.
Oh, just to fuck with your opponent's head.
Just to fuck with it. Wouldn't that be nice if he faked one?
That's so interesting.
Right over his head.
Yeah.
But even like spinning back fists and stuff like that aren't allowed. There's a whole rule book in regards to
really
in boxing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Basically, you can only hit them where the knuckles are. You can't even backhand them with the gloves.
Oh, okay.
Wow. I think he's going to fucking choke him out.
and just throws him on the ground. He goes, "That's what happens when you fight me like a fucking man."
It's not a bad Conor McGregor.
Elias, two more questions. Could you, like, you being a UFC guy, could you just go switch over, start boxing, and take on some pretty good boxers right now?
I think there'd be, again, the difference between Mayweather and, let's say, a Tyson, which I would be technically fighting or something like that. You're fighting the best defensive boxer of all time versus guys that really hit when they get heavier. So Mayweather, or McGregor rather, there's no real loss, even if he loses. Even if he gets embarrassed, he walks away with $100 million and no bell will be rung, most likely.
Yeah.
Obviously, with me, it's the difference of also the combination that I've only been training in any capacity since the age of 21. And I'm a good jack of all trades, but not necessarily I'm not necessarily a master of any of them. I think with me, hell, everyone has a price, right? But there's many different options, and I don't think it's just in combat sports. I may be on a couple of TV shows in the next little bit, but it's neither here nor there. Again, there's many ways to skin a cat, and all of this, whether it's in the ring or in any other components, it's all about attention. And this fight will get all the attention for Conor McGregor.
Yeah. Something to note, too, is that, like, Floyd Mayweather, throughout his career, has been really tactical about when he fights guys. Like, he didn't fight Pacquiao when he should have. He fought him years later and stuff. There's no way Floyd would take this fight if he believed that he could lose.
Well,
he must think in his brain 100% that he's going to win.
Yeah, because, again, it's the flip side of the whole Pacquiao thing. The longer he takes is now not in his benefit, right?
Yeah.
If he's because he's been retired for roughly 2 years now at this point. So the longer he's out of the cage, or not the cage, the ring rather, there is ring rust for a reason.
Yeah,
again,
that's true.
Even though he's someone that has literally been in combat sports longer than he has not, it's still a very real thing. So I think that's why they fast tracked this whole fight in October and not drawn it out for a couple of years. Get it, strike while the iron's hot.
When's the GSP Bisping fight?
It's in Madison Square Garden in November, I believe.
The 4th of November.
Okay, and any predictions for that one?
I think GSP is the best at doing what he does best.
Talking with a weird accent?
yes. I'm not impressed with your performance. But I think if anyone could come back, because you got to understand, he hasn't fought my whole UFC career. I've been a UFC fighter for 4 years, and he has not been in the cage for any of it. So ring rust is a very huge thing. But if anyone could overcome that, it is George. And at the same time, Bisping, he is on a roll, and now he's added a punching power into his mix. So it's a very dangerous night for GSP. I think based on just size and activity, you've got to give Bisping the advantage. But like I said, if anyone can pull it off, it's George.
Andrew Burr?
Yeah, that's a lot of variables in that fight. I think I would. I've always been such a George fan. My heart wants him to win really bad. Bisping's a big fellow though too, in that he used to fight at 205 pounds, and GSP's going up in weight. So, yeah, I'm gonna lean towards Bisping. I think, even though I would like George to win.
Yeah, much the same.
Hey, the Spartan joins us. Elias Theodorou, the main event. You're a king, buddy. I talked to you longer, but Bilal's wrapping me up, and I was just going to ask him his opinions on the fights, but we don't have time.
Can we ask him if Brock Lesnar's going to face John Bones Jones? Can you throw that out there?
Never time for Bilal.
Well, why don't we get Elias back on the show? Elias, I'd love to do your podcast too one day.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Congrats on getting that set up, and you're so great with your Twitter followers too. I've always, you know for sure, dude, how much I've loved you since the day I met you, and it's not just because you're an absolute stunning guy, and like you would make me think about maybe going. But no, you're very good at what you do, and best of luck moving forward in the fight world, and also in the broadcasting world, and the media game, and the advertising world, and everything you're doing. And if you're not still with your lady, are you still with your lady?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I'm just saying, 44, I'm ready to try new things.
Year 2025 coming real quick.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
The Todd Shapiro Show.